Good.
All right, everybody, thank you for your patience. We were working off a government laptop, and no surprise to me at least, it was not working. So we switched, and I think we're good to go right now. To another government laptop, local government though.
Yeah,
where-
local
where
government's
things
different.
work.
Where things work.
Where things work. Well, welcome out, everybody. We're glad to be here. I'm excited to have you here. My name is Flint Timmons, and I'm with the Utah Office of Tourism. I'm the Destination Development Specialist for the Office of Tourism. This is a pretty new position designed to really help communities become more welcoming and better prepared destinations for visitors and tourists. And we've been working with Carbon County, with Tina Henry specifically, and a lot of other local stakeholders and representatives on a long-term tourism strategy and vision for the county, as well as a new brand and marketing technique. And the hope is that using these locally generated ideas and support, that we can have the type of tourism and the amount of tourism that Carbon County wants to see in the future, and just be a better prepared destination. A big part of that is creating opportunities. That's a big benefit of tourism, is that it can create economic development opportunities for people who live here locally. Instead of exporting our families and our children to find jobs elsewhere, if we can create job opportunities here, then that's all the better. That is what makes the community stronger. And so we're really excited to talk to you about Airbnb experiences, which provide a really fantastic opportunity to create local opportunities here in Carbon County and in Emery County, so that we can share what we love in the way that we love to enjoy it with our visitors, and just really increase that awareness and that interaction that visitors have with our area. So we have a representative from Airbnb here to talk with us. He's actually online. He was the face that kept showing up there every now and again, Rob Connolly, who will speak to us a little bit. So we'll turn the time over to him digitally right now.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Flynn. Appreciate it, and appreciate you guys inviting me to speak about Airbnb. We initially launched a really exciting partnership with the DMO in Utah last year, and had quite a few hosts across Utah actively hosting experiences, and we're excited that you guys are still engaged and excited about the opportunity. And I think as we grow, because we just launched, we're just kind of building the framework for what's to come, and excited that Utah is part of that initial framework. So thanks for that. And I just want to kind of dive in. Again, I'm Rob Connolly. I represent global partnerships for experiences at Airbnb. I'm based in Los Angeles, but have helped kind of launch experiences across the US over the last couple of years. So I just want to give a general sense of what Airbnb experiences are. So I'll just pop up my screen here, see if you guys can see this. Can you guys see that? Perfect. Cool. So we initially launched Airbnb experiences about 2.5 years ago now. In just 12 cities, we had about 500 hosts. Today, we are currently in over 1,000 cities, and we have almost 30,000 hosts. So we have definitely expanded rapidly, given the fact that we have a really strong user base and an existing population that's using our homes and the home product.
So Rob, right now we're just seeing a black screen from your end.
Uh-oh. Okay, let's see.
Oh, there we go. Now we've got it.
Is that better? Let me see if I can just expand this then. Load. Yeah. Oops. Let's see. Outline. Slide only. Okay. Unfortunately, it's not going to give me present mode. Let's see. All right. I guess I can just. Can you guys see that very well or no?
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Okay, let me see if I can just.
And I think, Tina, you said this is being recorded, so maybe if we can't read it right now, we'll be able to watch it at home, and I think it will show up a little bit better on the video feed.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so can you guys see that now? Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Airbnb experiences are unique activities led by local experts. So the idea here is that this is not like a ticket platform where we're just selling existing events or existing shows that are kind of already happening. This is really meant to connect our global audience with a local perspective and a local kind of on the ground with unique access to either a location or a history of the area or even a skill set that you kind of are specializing in. So like I said, we have about 30,000 hosts around the world now doing this. We vet each one. So unlike our homes platform, we actually vet each one of these for quality. And really quality is top of mind in all of these experiences. So we're really looking for access, like I said, expertise, and the ability to create human connection. Those are kind of our three standards, and I'll get into those a little bit more. Okay, let's see if I can move to the next slide here. Oh, give me 1 second. I don't know why it's not letting me do. Is it? Can you guys all see that or no?
No, it's the black screen again.
Okay. Let me get back over here. I'll just have to do it this way. So like I mentioned, we've got 30,000 experiences, over 1,000 cities, and over 90% 5-star reviewed across the board. So again, quality is top of mind. This is kind of just a snapshot of our top markets by region. Utah is not on this list, but does not mean we don't have demand in Utah. Utah is still in our top 25 markets in the U.S. The parks are obviously a big draw and outdoor activities. But we also have a lot of activities in Salt Lake and other areas that are, even non-traditionally Utah experiences. So I think, again, as long as you're meeting our standards, we invite anyone to be a host. These are some of our popular categories. So again, sports and outdoors, nature, classes and workshops, photography is a big one, history. We also have health and wellness. Music. We have live concerts that are happening on Airbnb, intimate concerts. We have dance performances, entertainment, food and drink is a big one. So again, it runs the gamut. Again, as long as it meets our quality standards, we invite anyone to be a host on the platform. The value for guests is that, again, they're gaining access to a local and a local perspective. They're exploring a passion, like a shared passion typically. They're booking something that is obviously of interest to them. And they're meeting new people on the ground in Utah and also fellow travelers. So most of these are booked in groups by individuals. So you'd have up to 10 people from all over the world who are joining these experiences at the same time. So not only are they meeting a local, but they're also connecting with other travelers in the area. So this is an example of a fish market in Tokyo, where the chef takes you behind the scenes to the actual market, and you're sampling fish and fresh sushi directly from the market. This is a ceramics host in New York who does a pottery class. And this is a hike above Rio with a local who's lived there and is a local native. And for hosts, the value is that we've basically created a business platform that's pretty turnkey. So all of the insurance, all of the bookings and calendar widgets are all included. You essentially apply, you become a host, and we do the rest of the work for you. And so we, again, encourage new entrepreneurs, small businesses, community nonprofits, basically anyone who is doing any type of hosting or has never hosted before can become a host. The value, again, is you can earn money. The average right now of the 30,000 hosts that are on our platform is about $2,500 per year. But we have hosts, our top hosts are making upwards of, $300,000 per year. So I think it just depends on how active you want to host, Some hosts, host once a month. Other hosts are hosting, 4 or 5 times a day, depending on the activity and the demand. We obviously have 300 million travelers on our platform, so it's a global reach and an audience that's pretty far-reaching. Folks that started out their business right on Airbnb and are now developing, co-host and expanding into other cities and building a business right on Airbnb. So this is John Andre. I've actually taken this experience in New York. He actually uses, 25 to 50-year-old Polaroid cameras, vintage cameras right on in Soho, and teaches you how to use these cameras, and you're actually taking candid shots throughout the city with him. This is Cynthia in Nairobi, who takes you to the tea fields on horseback, so more of an outdoor experience. And then Cece in Shanghai does a cooking workshop on dumplings and soup dumplings. So those are just some examples. I think, again, this is just super high level, just kind of, we have some great examples in Utah. Hopefully you can kind of get online and check those out. I think, again, most of the successful ones in Utah are either outdoor oriented or typically relate to something iconic within the area. But again, we have all run the gamut of types of experiences and different types of hosts.
So thank you, Rob. Just a couple quick questions to help round out some of what you told us. What is the relationship between the Airbnb lodging component and the Airbnb experiences component? And do we need to be a lodging host in order to be an experience host?
Great question. We get that a lot. You do not have to be a lodging host to be an experience host. So this is a completely separate platform. We do have about maybe 20% of our hosts that do both, that host a home and host an experience. And there's obviously an advantage there because you're having guests stay in your home. But we also, another point on that same topic is that we also market all of these experiences to anyone staying in an Airbnb property. So anyone staying in your area, anyone staying even within 100 miles of your area, we're marketing those experiences to them as soon as they are even browsing for a home, and we also do what we call post-home booking emails that go out to anyone that's booked a home on Airbnb. So we're seeing a lot of success with just tapping into our existing user base.
And is there a cost for someone to sign up?
There is no cost to sign up. We are basically a rev share platform, so we do charge 20% of every booking, but there are no hard costs upfront or annual fees to be a host. We just take a percentage of each booking, and so as you're pricing out the experience, or as the hosts are pricing out the experience, they can kind of build that fee into their pricing.
You also mentioned that you vet the hosts, which is something that you don't do for the lodging properties. What are you looking for in a good experience host?
Yep. So again, there's kind of 3 pillars, and really all we're looking for are those 3. So one is access. So access to again, a place or a location, access to information, access to a skill set that guests really couldn't find on their own. So we're looking for things that if you just Googled what to do in Utah, and you could kind of go find those things on your own. This is really something that you're looking to do with a local, and that also falls in line with our second tier, which is expertise. So obviously being an expert in the field that you're hosting. If you've never been surfing before, we don't want you hosting a surf lesson. So obviously being an expert in the field. And then the third is human connection. So some type of participation or some type of connection that's created throughout the experience. So within those guidelines, those are really the 3 things we're looking for. And again, there's so much variability as far as what types of experiences that we're looking for. Yeah.
You also mentioned that Airbnb provides quite a bit of administrative and organizational support, like insurance. Could you delve more into how Airbnb supports these experience hosts?
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't just take 20%. We definitely try to provide value for the fee that we take. So every host is insured, just like on our home site, insured on a $1 million insurance liability policy. So that includes, anything goes wrong with your guests, any accidents happen, we take first position. So even for the professional operators that already have insurance, we would take first position on that policy, which is really exciting. Though I don't think anyone else is really doing that in the industry. And then secondly, we provide 24-hour customer service globally in multiple languages. So guests are coming obviously from all over the world and sometimes run into issues. And we have access for not only our hosts but also for the guests to that service. We also do basically content services for some of our top hosts. So as you kind of find success on the platform, we'll send out a professional photographer to shoot your experience, capturing video and photo content. And we also do obviously all of the merchandising and marketing to our existing home hosts on our platform, or home guests, on our platform, who are traveling in the area. So all of that marketing and kind of email marketing is included in that 20% rev share.
Great, fantastic. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, from Audrey.
Yeah, you mentioned that you market within 100 miles of the location of the stay, the homestay. Henry County is probably 160 miles, 140 to 160 miles from Salt Lake. Does the guest have an option to search in a wider area?
All right, so Rob, did you hear that?
I think so. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it's a location question about distance from a metropolitan hub. We get this question a lot. Yes, the experiences are completely searchable by location and also by category and experience tag. So if someone is looking, to go rappelling or to go hiking, they can type in hiking in Utah, and all of the experiences in Utah will populate, not just the ones that are close to their listing. You also don't have to stay in a listing to book an experience. So just like on the host side, you don't have to be a homes host. You don't have to be a homes guest to experience. So a lot of hosts are finding, additional demand channels outside of Airbnb as well to kind of fill their demand. So I think, we encourage you to kind of use social media or use existing demand channels to target locals or other travelers that are maybe staying in hotels even. So again, yeah, we're not just marketing to folks within that 100-mile radius.
Great, thank you.
Brianna, did you have a question?
Yeah, you said about taking photos and videos. What are the guidelines that you use to pick who may help with photos and videos?
Can you repeat that?
Did you hear that? She was asking about the videos and the pictures. Like, how do you choose, or who do you choose to?
Yep, so it's a great question. So we have a content team. So when you initially apply, we ask that you provide your own photos. We do have some photo standards. Some examples of which we would like people in the photos. Obviously photos of the actual activity that you're going to do with guests. Once you reach basically a success threshold, and it varies based on location and price point and those things. Typically, if you're seeing weekly bookings and you're actively hosting, within the first 3 to 6 months, we're gonna reach out and offer the photo content. So I think again, it just varies by location and varies by how often you're hosting and how much success you're having. But it's something that we're in touch with and try to do it obviously as many as we can, because obviously the more we market them and the more professional content we have on the platform, it helps everybody. So.
Great, thanks.
I did want to address the fact I did invite the BLN to join us in this meeting today, but they were gone. So I feel it's very important that if locals are considering becoming an experience host, that they know the guidelines about permitting and different things like that. And so I do have some applications with me today. If anybody is, interested in signing up with an experience and you're going to be on public lands, this information will tell you why you need a permit, if you need a permit, and how much it costs. So you guys are welcome to take. So if you're backpacking, ATVing, biking, and you're taking large groups onto public lands, we want to be a good steward and make sure that you're following the protocol that's required by the BLM. But let's talk a little bit about business licenses. I know I read a little bit. Is it just vary depending on your city, or is a business license even required?
It does vary by city, and so we don't have a standard for business license. It also varies by activity and some of our insurance policies. So throughout, as hosts submit, part of that vetting is to verify that you do have the right licenses and that you do have the proper paperwork in place. And so there isn't like a one size fits all answer there, but I would say that check your local with your local resources to see what's required. And then again, depending on the types of activity that you're doing, we'll ask additional questions throughout the vetting process.
I have a question on insurance. Does the host need to have any type of additional liability insurance? Let's say you were doing ATV rides or horse rides where it could be really dangerous. How does that work?
Great question. We're actually in the process of kind of reframing our insurance policy because of some of the activities that came up specifically in Utah last year. So kudos to you guys for thinking outside the box. But we do anything that is essentially approved is covered by our policy. There are certain activities. I know mountain, like extreme mountain guiding. If you're going above certain elevations. If you're jumping out of an airplane, things that require certain licenses, like pilot's licenses and those things, we do ask for additional certifications, and potentially additional insurance. So if you're driving guests more than a certain distance, we would ask for additional liability coverage on the auto policy. But the goal is to eventually have a one size fits all insurance policy. So we're getting there. I think driving is actually going to be covered in the next few weeks, and there'll be a number of things that'll be we need to ask for additional insurance. So again, those will come up like after you submit or as you're submitting your experience. We'll work with you to make sure that we're verifying that you have those, or we'll request that you kind of add those to your existing framework.
So my question would be, what if a guest is staying at your Airbnb and are also in the middle of doing an experience? How do they differentiate the insurances for that with its, is it
Yep.
an experience, like they're booking an experience, but then they booked your house,
Yep.
it's like if we're going, it's like if we have stairs, if we're headed to an experience and they fall down the stairs, or like how would that work? Anything if they hurt their
Yeah.
ankle,
Yeah, it's a great question. So yeah, because the policies are separate and the platforms are actually separated, they would actually be insured by both policies. Because they're staying in a home and they booked an experience, they would have double coverage essentially. So it is two separate points of coverage from an insurance perspective, and that's also included for the host. So if the host, they're leaving the property, going to the experience, basically the experience insurance starts when they actually arrive at the experience and the experience begins. The home insurance covers anything that happens inside the home.
does
So.
that also qualify for, like you were saying, like the host, any employees that do that, or is that just
So-
like the guests?
The insurance covers the primary host who's signed up and verified as an experienced host on the platform, and then also the guests who have booked through the platform.
Hi, Cindy.
So what insures other guests from other whatever marketing? Can you do that?
Yeah, so as long as they book through Airbnb, so again, you don't have to be a Homes guest to book an experience. So as long as you're directing them to book on Airbnb, they would be insured and covered on the policy.
So
Everyone, so it's a great question. We definitely encourage basically not commingling guests from other platforms, and the reason for that is because of insurance. If other platforms are not providing that coverage, or the guest is not covered themselves, you would be liable if something happened to them. So we don't necessarily state outright that you cannot commingle, but we would encourage that you don't for insurance reasons. Yeah.
So this was basically designed for as tourists come into an area just to experience those unique things with locals. I know that I was reading a lot on the Utah experiences, and there's, people. There's a gentleman who, and he had wonderful reviews, by the way. But there's a gentleman that does downtown walking tours, and he visits it's like a food and drink tour. And so he takes them to different restaurants. They go to distilleries, they go to breweries. That's all included in the price. I mean, as far as like renting a scooter, anything like that. But the experience that someone has with a local, and then as they part, he's able to tell them different places to see and things to do while they're there. So that's why I wanted to, talk about it more in Carbon and Emery County. We have just such a vast range of outdoor recreation and things to do here, and a lot of the stuff people are already doing. You're already snowshoeing, you're already mountain biking, you're already doing things that you love. Wouldn't it be fun if you had, I'm thinking like 2 people from Belgium, and you're taking them up to the top of your best biking trail and showing them the best places to eat and other things to do in the area.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the magic comes when you're actually hosting people from all over the world, and you don't have to leave your backyard. It's a really exciting opportunity to meet people from all over. So we were actually at a concert last night at the top of Topanga Canyon, which is one of the mountains over here in Santa Monica Canyon, and there was an acoustic concert at the top after like about a 30-minute hike. So I think the sky's the limit as far as like getting creative, and we had people from I think 14 different countries that were attending the concert, and it was just a really magical show. So I think there's things like that happening all over the world, and we're just really getting started. This is kind of just the first year that we're kind of have expanded globally and are in the very beginning stages, almost like we were on the home side, 8 or 9 years ago. So super exciting.
Any other questions for Rob? Yeah.
Do you have any insight as to like what specifically, say within like the food and drink category, like making things or just unique local fare that's most popular?
Yeah, so I think the question was, is what types of experiences in food and drink category are popular?
What's most
Okay.
popular in that?
Yeah, so I think the average length of the experiences are about 2 or 3 hours. Again, that can totally vary based on the activity, but that's just an average. So with that in mind, I think most food and drink is either like some type of like a tasting tour of some kind, or a workshop where you're actually like getting your hands on, like making something. And so I think obviously the sky is the limit to be as creative as you want within food and drink, but those are kind of 2 of our most popular within that category.
Yeah, go ahead.
If we did like Dutch oven dinners, would we need a food handling permit?
You would need all the permits. I believe he said that you would need to operate in your city or state. And I would think that you would have to have a food handler's permit to do. If you're handling food, if you're out doing a food and drink tour,
Right.
and you're just going and kind of doing taste testing, that wouldn't be, but if I know I heard about the lady who started as an experience host because her grandma made homemade pasta. They were from Italy, and so they were bringing people into their home, up to 4 people at a time, and making homemade Italian pasta with grandma, and I would imagine that you would need a food handler's permit for that.
Yeah, and the Utah Department of Agriculture has some pretty clear guidelines on when you do need that permit and when you don't.
Yeah.
I can share those with Tina, who can then share them with everybody.
Health department, they also require, you have to be a yearly permit, for food handling.
Yeah.
So I think
The
if you
county
were
as
to
well.
apply be an experienced host and it involved food, in order to be vetted, I think that's some of the questions that they would be asking if you have the right permits in place. What was your question, dear?
I just wonder, like, if it's in an actual business, if you're already covered with the licenses, if you want to put that.
Oh, I would think, yes.
You would be, yeah.
Yeah. And I really think your mom should do the murder mystery dinners, I'm not kidding,
Is that something that's?
as an experience.
The access though? Would that fall under that, or is that something?
Do you think it would fall under that, Rob?
So, yeah, I was just going to bring up Utah was actually the first state, and we actually worked jointly on this with the state legislature to pass a law that actually allows for home dinner parties. And so without having like an official, business food handler's license, and so it's limited in scope in the sense that it's for limited number of guests, and they're kind of what you're actually offering. But I think it's exciting because it's the first time that we're actually able to kind of allow those types of activities in the U.S. So I think again, check the local resources, but we passed legislation last year that allows you guys to do activities like that.
Yeah, this is an actual experience. I had a customer one time that went on an extreme adventure. Man, I could hear his heartbeat. He was going to die, but he didn't. Are customers vetted for extreme adventures, or are we stuck with who we get?
Yeah, it's a great question. We actually, when we first launched, we had an individual go out to the sand dunes in California on a dirt bike and got in a pretty nasty accident. Our insurance team was not too happy about it. Our guest requirements are front and center on the experience page, and those are created by the host, and so you can be very clear that the experience that you're providing is, requires, a certain level of expertise, or requires a certain level of fitness. If you're hiking, it's just best to be as clear as possible. Obviously, you're limiting, the types of guests that you can bring on based on the experience, but we don't officially vet for those, so those are vetted by you guys, the hosts, and being clear with your communication to guests, up front in that guest requirements section.
So that leads me to another question, Rob. What sort of discretion do the hosts have in determining their hours, the length of experience, the price, and the participant?
Yeah, that's a great question. I didn't cover that, but yeah, so basically all of those things are controlled by the hosts. So essentially we have no requirements for how often you need to host, the price of your experience, how many guests you need to take on the experience. Those are all controlled by the host. So I think the idea here is that we're really just a platform, and this is like a business opportunity for the host to build and kind of be entrepreneurial in the way they build out their business. So all of that is controlled, and it's fair. We've made it as easy as possible. You can do most of it on the mobile app, and also on web. So,
Great, thanks.
yeah.
Ashley?
I kind of have like two questions. Is there a superhost status on experiences and like
Great.
rating like the
Yeah.
experiences?
Great question. We are working on that. We have a program that's launching in the next few weeks that hasn't been announced yet. Essentially for basically exclusive experiences that are exclusively on Airbnb and they're not listed elsewhere. And so we're working on basically on a super host and also a super guest program for both homes and experiences. So we should have something hopefully later this year, if not early next year.
Okay, and then like my part two to that is I know when you're staying at an actual Airbnb home or whatever you choose, what happens if a guest does an experience, okay, gets on books, they go to the experience, but they decided they didn't enjoy it, or like different things like that, or it wasn't what they thought it was gonna be. What's the takeaway on them, like getting like their money back, or like leaving a bad review, things
Yep.
like that?
Yeah. So yeah, our host and guest cancellation policy is spelled out. Essentially, guests once they book, within a 30-day window, they're locked in, so that the host, some of these hosts are buying equipment and ingredients well before the actual experience. So we protect the host in that way. The review system is very similar to the home system. It's a peer-to-peer review system. where the guest is leaving direct feedback about the experience. Again, 90% of our reviews are 5-star and are pretty glowing. We do have the occasional guest that is not happy with the experience, and our customer support team is there. And so if there is an issue, always feel free to direct customer support team to handle that, and whether that's a refund or an offering coupon to get them on another experience. But again, the peer review system is what keeps everybody honest.
All right, and then I think we'll do one last question before we let Rob go, if there is one.
How many people in the room are considering about being a host?
Quite a few hands go up.
Awesome. I can't see the room. But
Yeah, I'll raise my hand for them. Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining us all the way from California. I know this technology is annoying, but this is so valuable for us, here in our corner of Utah, to be able to have, your expertise and educate us on that. So thank you so much for your time and for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. It's super exciting chatting with all you guys, and I look forward to getting out to Utah and taking some of those experiences. So
Thanks, Rob.
appreciate it.
Great, thank you, Rob.
Cheers, guys.
Oh, where's my mouse now? All right. So sorry, it was really valuable having Rob there, but we do want to be respectful of your time. We said an hour, and we caused us to be a bit late, but I just want to run you through some of the resources that the State Office of Tourism has to help people through the Airbnb experience. I don't know about you, but as he kept going, I'm like, this almost sounds too good to be true. Airbnb really does provide a really great resource, and that's why the Office of Tourism was really excited about this opportunity to partner with them. Airbnb experiences are not available in every city and every state in the United States, and I think that's something that makes our experiences really unique. There may be experiences available in New York City, but not in rural New York State. And that's something that's very unique here in Utah, that it's not just Moab, it's not just Salt Lake City, it's not just Provo, but Emory and Carbon counties also have these opportunities that aren't available in a lot of other places. And, our office was very excited not only for that, but just all the resources and support that they provide hosts. We don't want to oversell it, but it really is such an amazing opportunity available to us, whether we are looking for additional income, whether we're looking just to get out of the house and socialize with people, or whether we are augmenting our existing businesses that are already tourism oriented. All those are allowed under the Airbnb experience system. And our tourism research has shown that people more and more as they travel, not just younger millennial generation, but even older folks as well, middle-aged families, what have you, they are looking less for things to purchase and more for experiences to purchase. Some of the examples that often get used is, and Rob brought it up a little bit, you can sort of think of the difference between buying a meal and the chef brings it out to your table and then you eat it, or going and making your meal with the chef and then discussing whatever you want to discuss as you eat it together. And that's sort of where that experience lies, is doing it together and providing something that they couldn't do otherwise for our visitors. And what I really enjoy about it is it allows us as locals to share the things that we love and that we enjoy and what makes our community special. I have toured 9 Mile Canyon with my family, and I had so many questions about the history of the rock art, about the history of the ranchers and pioneers who did that. If somebody local who knows a lot about that were able to provide that experience and go with us, it would have made it such a better experience. It was already fantastic, and it would have been that much better. If we have trails that we love to do, to hike or off-road on, if we have special things that we love to do, hobbies or places to go, that's what people are looking for, and it gives them such a much more positive impression of our communities and keeps them coming back and keeps them telling their friends and families. And plus, Airbnb, with their agreement with the state, they collect some of those taxes that then come back to our local community. So not only are the visitors here using our resources, but that money is coming back into the community to improve the community. And obviously it's not all roses all the time, but there are so many positives to this, and I'm really excited to have this opportunity discuss it with you guys. So what we wanted to do real quick was just run through how can you learn more about this and where are the resources. If you visit the official state site, which is visitutah.com, we have an Airbnb experiences page. So you can either navigate that through the visitutah.com, or what I like to do is just type in Airbnb experiences Utah, and this will be one of the first results that comes up. So on this page, we explain a little bit about what it means to be a host and what's required. So we talk about the resources here. So there's the Experience Resource Center, which talks a lot, or covers a lot of the same material that Rob shared with us. Then we have sign up for an Airbnb experience, and I'll take you to that page here in a sec. And then we have some frequently asked questions. Again, that covers a lot of what Rob covered here. So if you want a refresher, or maybe he didn't cover something that you wish he did, you can come to this page, as well as Airbnb Experiences, their official website, and get a lot of those questions answered, and have some contact information to speak directly with some folks. So we talk about the types of experiences that are available, what's in it for you, how to get started, how to sign up, and some of the other resources that you might want to think about, and what to do if you have questions and more frequently asked questions. So there's a lot of PDFs and other resources, such as information on the experience program, or the insurance program rather. What our office gets out of it, which is part of our, this furthers our mandate, and this is aligned with our goals for what we want to see in the state. We have some more information resources here. Introduction to Airbnb experiences. There are a couple stats here that I wanted to highlight for you folks. 97% of the profits of home listings go into the pockets of hosts. So, a lot of this money is coming back to you. Rob quoted a figure about $2,000. I think that must have been updated from this as more and more people have opted into it. But at the time this was printed in 2017, the average host earned $7,200 annually. And as Rob mentioned, you get to set your hours. If you want to do it, as a full-time job, you have that ability. If you just want to do it on weekends or whenever you have the time, you're allowed to do that and earn the income that you want to earn. Then right here, that it talks about how it's an economic partner for cities. So, again, they are collecting taxes that can come back and improve our cities. They can collect money that comes back to help fund our roads and our housing and our health and, our police and fire and search and rescue efforts. So, it's just a great deal all around. Then we also have this handout here that it also, just discusses what's in it for us and what we might want to think about as we're developing the experience. So what are Airbnb experiences? And it gives the example, to use a theater metaphor, experiences are more like a play and less like improv. Thanks. So a play is planned and it has something specific. So the experience is, we'll go to Roxy's because it's my favorite and all the writers go there. That's what they want the host to be, that guide. This is what we're doing, everybody understands, and this is how I'm going to be a good host and show it to you. Instead of improv, which is, well, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that, what do you guys want to do? That's, really not the quality of experience they're looking for, but something special that you know how to do and you're able to share with them. So I think that's a really good example to think about that. And then finally, I wanted to show you this link here. So again, this is back on the visitutah.com/Airbnb-signup page. So we'll say, let's sign up for an Airbnb experience. And it goes here of, this is now on the Airbnb site with all the information that we'll need. Host on your terms, start a business with no upfront costs, meet the host community, and then right here, let's go, and they'll help walk you through those steps and help you craft the right experience for what they're looking for and help you see if it's a good fit for you. And then finally, I wanted to show you actual hosts. I had this pulled up on my other machine. Yeah, the crappy one. And I wanted to show you some actual experiences that people are providing. So if we go here, airbnb.com/experiences, and we can search Utah. We'll just give you an idea of what some people in the state of Utah are doing to provide experiences. Rappelling in East Zion, also an ATV tour. We have somebody like Tina mentioned, a sip, snack, and stroll through Salt Lake City, $35 a person. We have Western horse rides in Cedar City. We have guided hikes in Kanab, go ATVing in Orderville, cheese making in Midway, photography in Ivins, secrets of Salt Lake City, a behind the scenes kind of history tour. Hike the way to Navajo culture to learn more about the Navajo way of life down in Monument Valley. Bladesmithing, fishing, a tin type time machine to take pictures. There really are an endless array of what you're interested in that you can share with people. And again, it's not necessarily that the activity itself always has to be that special, but the interaction with us as local, passionate people is what makes it special and makes it worthwhile. So let's go ahead and pick this one, Peekaboo Slot Canyon Adventure from Orderville, or Glendale is what that one says. And we can see this is what a visitor would look like if they're looking to book the experience. They get an idea of where is it, how long will it take, what exactly is offered. They have the host over here, and we can learn more about them to see if they're somebody we'd be interested in. They have a little biography here. And then it tells us what are we going to do. All the while, they have some of these photos scrolling on the side so we can get a good sense of what's involved. And this is something that can really excite a visitor and give them a good idea of what they're able to provide. And, I think it's, and then what else should you know? Helmets are provided, and what I'll provide, what you need to provide. So, this really is an amazing opportunity and something that we're really proud to offer for the entire state and not just for these local metro areas like in so many other areas. We would be happy to answer any other questions that you guys may have, and
Do you know how often they pay? Like, is it like a once a month thing? I know they collect the money and then they send the money to the host. Airbnb does.
I believe it is, yeah. That's a good question. So no money actually exchanges hands on site. It's all done through the platform, through credit cards, and so then, yeah, I believe it's a monthly thing. I could be wrong on that, but I believe then you get the check or the deposit from Airbnb into your account monthly. I have business cards up here. Feel free to take them and reach out to me anytime in the future. We're happy to help out, and other people in my office who might have more information, or we can connect back with folks like Rob at Airbnb to help get you the information that you'd like. So, yeah. I don't. I can find that though and get that sent out to everybody. That was actually news to me as well. I hadn't heard that before. So yeah, I'll look into that. Yeah.
And we do have the special recreation permit process guidebook from the BLM. Even if you're not sure if you're going to be off, taking people canyoneering or ATVing, large groups, this will tell how many you can take without a permit, how many that you'll need a permit for, if you need one, why you need one, and how much it costs. So I have some of those here. Yes, Adriana? Yes. Yes. So we just want to make sure, that we're good stewards, and hopefully we'll get a bunch of you to sign up. I think it would be really awesome to be able to promote the experiences through the tourism office as well and on our different platforms. There are not. Nope. And there's people outside of our area who are experienced hosts who are bringing people into our area.
Well, I guess I would say there's not necessarily any in Western Emory. I believe there are several in Green River that are available.
There is some in Green River.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman in Salt Lake, and I think it's $625 per person that he's charging. He's from Salt Lake. He's not from there, but he's doing 2-day tours in the Swell. And it's like camping overnight, hiking, and I thought, oh, we gotta get our locals to jump on this. They have the best information. They know the most about the area. So anyway, thank you guys for coming. I was really excited to see that many of you show up. So I hope you do something with it, or at least ignites a little bit of fire and gets you excited. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at the tourism office. I'm here with Carbon County and Flint's with the state. So any information that Flint finds that he sends after the meeting, if you guys want to leave your email addresses, maybe come fill this out. Or write your name and email on the back. I'll make sure that I send any information out, like about that dining law you were talking about. I can send it out to everyone.
Yes, and please, honestly, do reach out. You know, that's what I get paid for, is to help out. So, you know, please, you know, don't be shy.
So where are you located?
I'm located in Salt Lake City. Yeah. Although I feel like I have a second home here.